get some fucking money. I got the win totals and the future bets you guys need to be smashing right now. Stop wasting time. You will thank me when it's Christmas. I'm jumping right in there. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think of this content in the comments. First things first, I got the NFC win totals. I got Detroit Lions right there at the top. Aiden Hutchinson coming back. Pretty big deal to me. Philadelphia Eagles, no one can stop the tush push. San Fran has surprised a lot of people. Their line is set kind of high. I thought at 9.5. I'm going to give them 10 wins this season. I think, CMC back healthy. Brock Purdy extension. Juwan Jennings extension. It makes a difference. Green Bay and Rams, I do think both of these teams can knock Philly off the high horse. I'm going to give them a little bit over their win total. Atlanta here, I am smashing over 7.5. This could be Tampa Bay, but I think Atlanta performs better than them this year. I'm a big Penix fan, and I do think he gets their offense back on track. Let's give Atlanta 10 wins this year. Scrolling down, you'll see Arizona and Seattle. I'm taking their under. I like Seattle's defense, not so much their offense with Sam Darnold without Kevin O'Connell. And Arizona, I do feel like they have a couple offensive pieces, but their defense still might be lacking. I could switch Arizona with maybe Carolina or the Giants, but for now, let's take the under on Arizona's 8.5 win total. Moving on to the AFC, we do have Buffalo right there at the top at 14 wins, of course, in Baltimore. I do think one of these teams could possibly win the Super Bowl this year. KC wins the West. Cincinnati starting off better than they usually do. Let's give them 11 wins, 10.5 kind of high, so let's go ahead and give them 11 wins. Houston is a surprise there. Let's give them 11 wins. I do think Stroud had his bad year last year. He's gotten over the hump. His defense is really good. Let's get Houston in the playoffs. Tennessee Titans at 5.5. I thought this was almost borderline disrespectful. I do think that Cam Ward has an amazing year, offensive rookie of the year. I am going to give them 9 wins, 8 wins possibly. I do think Tennessee's defense is a sleeper not many people are thinking about. Let's go down here. Pittsburgh at 8.5. I'm going to only give them 6 wins. I'm not really just an Aaron Rodgers fan. I actually think he might even go to another team before he wins another Super Bowl and then eventually retires. Moving on. Couple future bets that I am absolutely smashing. If you like this content, go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I am clapping over 39.50 passing yards. Patty boy Mahomes. Mahomes has never looked back since becoming the Chiefs starter in 2018, throwing for 32,068 yards, averaging 288 yards passing yards per game, the most in the NFL in that time. He passed for 4,000 yards in 6 of his last 7 seasons with an average of 4,500 yards per season. This is arguably the best receiving core Mahomes has ever had. Rashee Rice led the NFL in catches and receiving yards before his injury last season. Xavier Worthy had 157 yards in the Super Bowl. Hollywood Brown had 45 yards in both regular season games in 2024. And Travis Kelce will be Travis Kelce. I do think this is an easy lock. Patty boy Mahomes over 39.50 pass yards. Go ahead, lock it in. Let's get it. Moving on to the next bet, J.J. McCarthy. His passer line is set a little too high for me. I think it's like 5th or 7th, something like that. 36.50 passing yards. I'm clapping the under. J.J. missed the whole of his rookie season with a torn meniscus in his right knee. Coming back from an injury is never easy, especially from a meniscal tear where re-injury is common. Expect a slow start from someone who hasn't played a competitive game in almost 2 years. McCarthy was never a high-volume quarterback at Michigan, which was an extremely run-heavy offense where he averaged less than 200 passing yards per game. Yes, he has Justin Jefferson. I do not think that makes a difference with Addison gone in the beginning of the season. I'm clapping the under 36.50 for J.J. McCarthy. I don't think he plays the whole season healthy. Next bet that I'm absolutely taking is Jordan Mason over 600 rushing yards. Jordan Mason made the switch from San Francisco and Minnesota in the offseason, signing a 2-year, $10 million contract with the Vikings. Pretty good. In his 12 games of 2024, he rushed for 789 yards, clearing this line with ease. His former running back committee with Aaron Jones and Kevin O'Connell referring to them as 1A and 1B in a recent interview. Aaron Jones is now 30 and is coming off his only second fully healthy season in his career. I don't think Aaron Jones will play a full 17 games again. Over 650 rushing yards. It's an absolute lock. Lock it fuck in. Moving on, I'm taking Saquon Barkley under 1450 rushing yards. I do not think that he repeats his success from last season. Saquon was undoubtedly the best player in the league and had a high chance to win the break the rushing record if he wasn't benched in Week 18. He became the 9th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards of the previous 8. Only one has hit 1,400 yards the next year. Only Barry Sanders in 98. Barkley cleared this line for the first time in his career in 2024. His previous high being 13-12 with the Giants in 2022. For that reason, I do think this line is set a little bit too high. I'm going to take the under 1450 Saquon Barkley rushing yards. The next bet I am taking this is an easy one for me. Ladd McConkey over 1,000 yards receiving. Come on, this line is way too low. Ladd McConkey had 1,149 receiving yards in 16 regular season games as a rookie and established himself as Herbert's clear wide receiver 1, as shown with 14 targets and 197 yards in the Chargers' only playoff game. McConkey was eased in, but from Week 8 onwards, he averaged 98 yards receiving yards and 6.1 catches per game. Only Jamar Chase averaged more stats than that. That is some pretty impressive company for the rookie. Ladd also accounted for a huge 39% of the Chargers' total receiving yards from Week 8 onwards. I am clapping the over 1,000 receiving yards. Ladd McConkey, it's an absolute steal if you ask me. Moving on, the next bet I'm taking, Jerry Jeudy under 925 receiving yards. This is a bit too high. He gets close, but I do not think he hits it. 1,229 yards on 90 receptions in 2024. You might be wondering why I take the under here. Well, now is the time to sell on your Jerry Jeudy stocks. Jameis Winston was the key reason to his success in 2024. Winston averaged 43 pass attempts per game in 6 weeks, a volume which won't be repeated this year. Winston is no longer under center. Kenny Pickett has been traded. A couple rookies will compete for the quarterback one position. I do think Jerry Jeudy, especially with Isaiah Bond coming in, that Jerry Jeudy has an under 925 yards receiving. Next bet that I'm clapping is going to be Bucky Irving over 7.5 rushing touchdowns. To me, this is an easy lock. Bucks, I feel like, are transitioning into a running. They run the ball really, really well lately. The Bucks had a steal with Bucky, taking him in the 4th round in 2024 draft, and he hit the ground running in style. He ran for 1,122 yards and 8 touchdowns, and having 3 games with 100-plus yards in the last 7 games of the season. He played 45% of the snaps in 2024, the same number of Rashad White, however, but Bucky had 17 more R carries, and he's trusted more in the red zone as a running back. I do like Bucky Irving more than Rashad White. I'm taking the over 7.5 rushing touchdowns. It's a lock for me, Bucky Irving. Here we go, moving on to the next bet. I really like this one. Nico Collins, over 6.5 receiving touchdowns. Nico was set for a monster year in 2024, but he was cut short for injury. Despite this, he had still grown 7 TDs in 12 games with 1,000 receiving yards. He's had 8 and 7 touchdowns in his last 2 seasons, but is set for a bigger role this year with Tank Dell out for a while. Joe Mixon has also been injured in training camp. Nick Chubb set to be RB1 for the opening weeks. This is good news for Nico. I do think Nico Collins has a pretty good year this year. I'm locking it in early, so should you. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you like this content. We're keeping it rolling. We are cooking. Nico Collins over 6.5 receiving touchdowns. Here we go. This is an absolute clapper. If you're clapping, go ahead, comment clap in the comments. Here we go. Next bet. A little bit of rookie insight. I do like Cam Scatabo, where he was drafted by the Giants. Not a lot of competition in front of him. The Giants drafted Scatabo in the 4th round out of Arizona State. He was a stud there. He had 293 carries in 2024, rushing for 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns as the Sun Devils made the collegiate football playoffs. I think this line is a little bit too low. Yeah, I do like Cam Scatabo over 3.5 rushing touchdowns. Let's give him 4 rushing touchdowns his first year. The next bet that I really like, you know me, Ashton Jeanty, one of the favorites to be offensive rookie of the year, over 7.5 rushing touchdowns. That's an easy 8, 9, 10 rushing touchdown season. When you run for 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns in a single season, you're going to get some attention. Jeanty was picked up by the Raiders with a 6th round pick in 2025, and with a rushing touchdown line of just 7.5, this is a must play spot. I really like Ashton Jeanty over 7.5 rushing touchdowns. Let's lock it in early. Next bet I really like is going to be Cam Ward, Offensive Rookie of the Year. The nature of this award is to be set up perfectly for Cam Ward to take the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Has gone to a quarterback in 8 of the last 15 seasons, but that's not the only reason why he can't take this. He's locked in as QB1 for the Tennessee Titans with Will Levis sidelined for the season after a shoulder injury. His head coach, Brian Callahan, was the brains behind Joe Burrow's early career, and we all know how that's going. I do think this, once again, is set up perfectly for Cam Ward. Ashton Jeanty, Cam Ward, Ashton Ward, blah, blah, blah. Cam Ward, let's get it. The next bet that I am taking is probably Tetroa McMillan over 800.5 receiving yards. Carolina added McMillan at wide receiver. Super Gucci, traded away Adam Thielen. I do believe he's a clear number 1. Drawing comparisons to Drake London and Mike Evans, Tet is a tall guy with big hands. He'll be able to haul in passes left and right over the top of defenders. Bryce Young develops an early connection out of Cali. The next bet that I'm taking is going to be Stephon Diggs over 4.5 receiving touchdowns. If not for a torn ACL in his lone Houston season, Diggs would have cleared this line in every single since 2016. In seasons in his career when he's started at least 14 games, he's averaged 8.6 touchdowns. He might not be the same player who scored 21 times across 21 and 22, but he's still a serious red zone weapon with 3 touchdowns in 8 games last year. I do love this line set a little bit too low for me. Stephon Diggs, clapping him over 4.5 receiving touchdowns. Justin Fields, next bet is going to be over 2,600 passing yards. A little sneaky value here. Fields never went over this line in a season, but he's also never had this type of opportunity. He joins a 5-12 Jets team whose record doesn't tell the whole story. Garrett Wilson still hauled in 1,100 yards, and Breece Hall finished RB18 in fantasy. There is talent around Fields. I do think, once again, this is set a little bit too low. Putting a couple dollars on Justin Fields over 2,600 passing yards. Let's go ahead and move on to the next bet. I will be taking a couple unders here. Might surprise some people. I got Devontae Adams under 1,000 yards. I know this, if I'm wrong, go ahead, let me know in the comments. While Adams did not notch his 6,000-yard season in 7 years in 2024, 395 of those yards came in 3 meaningless December games against Jacksonville and Miami. That late-round surge owed more to Aaron Rodgers forcing the ball to his old friend than sustained dominance, and Adams' PFF grade reflected it. He posted his worst mark since 2017 and has declined every year since leaving Green Bay. Now in Los Angeles, Adams will be a wide receiver 2 for the first time in a decade, with Puka Nacua firmly entrenched as the focal point. Once again, this line is a little bit too high. I think he finishes 800, 700 yards. Devontae Adams under 1,000 yards. Cooper Kupp. I'm also taking the under on him. This one, don't quote me on, but for something tells me Smith and Jigba is going to be the focal point. Cooper Kupp under 725 receiving yards like Devontae Adams. Kupp's production and the efficiency have both been trending down. His 710 yards in 2024 were the fewest of his career in a 10-game season, and his PFF grade has dropped for 4 straight years. 725 yards, a little bit too high for me. I think he's going to finish with 650, 610, 17, around there. Cooper Kupp, smash the under. Let's get it. The next bet that I'm taking is going to be Cam Ward. I told you about this, Offensive Rookie of the Year. This award is set up for Cam Ward to take. It's gone to a QB in the last 8 of 15 seasons, but that's not the only reason. Titans head coach Brian Callahan was the brains behind Joe Burrow's early career, and we know how that's going. Ashton Jeanty, the respectable favorite, but this award heavily favors QB by nature. Jeanty has to face 6 games in the AFC West, 3 of which made the playoffs in 2024. Cam Ward has arguably the weakest division in the NFL, and Jags and Colts very much there for the taking. With promising reports out of minicamp, plus 275 is a nice play to take a very promising young quarterback. It's easy for me. Cam Ward, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Next bet is easy. Abdul Carter, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nice value at plus 250. Recent history shows this award usually goes to the top rookie pass rushers, Jared Verse, Will Anderson, Micah Parsons. Nick Bosa won 5 out of 6 awards. All of those pass rushers were first-round picks, and 4 of them were first players drafted in the position. Carter checks every box then and is the number 3 overall pick and the first pass rushers taken, joining a Giants D strong enough to keep him from facing constant double teams. His preseason debut for the Giants only compounded the sense that he is the obvious play here. From just 3 pass rush snaps, he had 3 QB pressures, including 1 sack. He's a favorite for the award, and I am excited to see this man play. Go ahead and lock it in. Abdul Carter, Defensive Rookie of the Year, plus 250. Then we got Joe Burrow as the MVP at plus 600. One thing stopped Burrow from winning the MVP in 2024, and that was the Bengals. From a pure offensive standpoint, he was elite. 4,918 yards, 13th most in NFL history, and 43 touchdowns, both league highs. 9 QBs have led the NFL in both passing yards and passing TDs in the same season since 1985. Among them, Favre, Warner, Brady, Manning, and Mahomes turned those dual lead seasons into MVP awards. The trend: own both passing crowns, you win MVP. The Bengals D should see vast improvement with all-time coach Al Golden calling plays. Even a mid-tier improvement in this area could swing multiple games. At plus 600, you're essentially betting the Bengals win column, not Burrow's arm. The numbers are already MVP caliber. Joe Burrow keeping it chilly. Plus 600 MVP. Let's get it. Next bet, we got Kyle Hamilton, Defensive Player of the Year at plus 5,000. We're taking a long shot to win this award, but there's so many reasons to love him. He's on a Ravens unit that was one of the league's best in the second half of 2024 and has improved in the offseason. They invested their top 2 draft picks into the defense, adding the highest rated safety Malik Starks and defensive end Mike Green, also adding elite cornerback Jair Alexander in free agency. Hamilton is the best safety in the NFL, finishing 2024 with 107 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception. He was the only defender in the NFL with the grade of 80 plus 5, and both coverage and run defense in 2024. Now, with all the new additions to the Ravens, Hamilton will have even more flexibility to serve as a Swift Army knife. He should put up bigger numbers in 2025, and is the Defensive Player of the Year talent. I really like the Ravens defense this year. Let's go ahead and take a shot. Kyle Hamilton, Defensive Player of the Year, plus 5,000. Moving on. Nico Collins, we mentioned him earlier, Offensive Player of the Year, plus 1,400. Collins ranked 22nd in receiving yards in 2024, but that came in only 12 games due to a hamstring injury. Before the injury, he was an absolute tear, averaging 106 yards per game in his previous 11 outings. He was the best run in the NFL to watch over that stretch. He still finished 2024 with 83.8 yards per game, 4th in the league, but the post-injury drop was obvious. I'm betting a healthy Collins delivers a full season of that pre-hamstring pace, which projects to be more than 1,900 yards. That's 220 more than 2024 Jamar Chase. The Offensive Player of the Year almost always comes from a playoff team. That last exception was Chris Johnson in 2009, and no winner has ever been on a losing team, with Houston favored to win the AFC South and their win total set at 9.5. The Texans team's outlook only strengthens the case for Collins, a true value play. He is a beast. Nico Collins, Offensive Player of the Year, at plus 1,400. Moving on to the last pick that I am absolutely clapping, Christian McCaffrey, Comeback Player of the Year, plus 370. CMC is back healthy, and even if he gets to a fraction of his pre-production injury, he's bound to win the Comeback Player of the Year. All past winners share one common trait: they were elite at their position before experiencing setbacks and propelled themselves back to that greatness. Narratives play a big role to this award and has been dominated by QBs the last 6 years. There's a few QBs in this position this year, but Dak is the only serious QB contender. But who's betting on the Cowboys, really? CMC is a uniquely great position to thrive. With the departure of Mason, Debo, Ayuk, and Isaiah Guerendo's injury before the season, CMC will be the guy in San Francisco. CMC's return should hence positively correlate with the much improved from the 49ers, helped by a great schedule and a lot of rest to prevent injuries. Hutchinson is a threat, but 1,000-yard injury-free season will see CMC take this crown. Let's go ahead and lock it in together before the season starts. Christian McCaffrey, Comeback Player of the Year. If you like this content, go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We are growing this channel. If you want to see my week 1 picks, you can click on either one of these links. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Let's get it.